Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. In another case of look at what the feds care about versus what they don't care about, look no further than Amos Miller, an Amish organic farmer in Pennsylvania who dares to sell meat and dairy products to his neighbors and to others who drop by after hearing about him through word of mouth. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture claims it got reports from health officials in New York and Michigan about young people coming down sick with a foodborne illness after eating products from Miller's organic farm, prompting the raid. The samples tested positive for the Shiga toxin-producing E. coli bacteria, that is the foodborne illness. However, I must ask, could the contamination have happened en route if these products were brought back from Pennsylvania all the way to New York or Michigan to be consumed later? Or maybe they were consumed on site, I don't know. But also, everyone who drinks organic milk or other similar products knows the inherent risks. And plus, eating store-bought food with all of its chemicals and additives doesn't protect you completely from the risk of foodborne disease either. And since authorities have long been in litigation with the farmer, a reporter for the Lancaster Patriot is calling this harassment and nothing else. And Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie responded to say that with all of the problems in society today, this is what the government wants to focus on: a man growing food for informed customers without participating in the industrial meat/milk complex. It's shameful that it's come to this. Plus, the timing of the raid had another X-user pointing out, instead of raiding the Epstein client list today, the government is instead raiding an Amish farmer for selling organic food to people. It's similar to how the media, which is an extension of the government at this point, is covering the recent Iowa school shooting. The deceased gunman is being reported as Perry High School senior Dylan Butler. He killed a sixth grader and injured several others, including a principal who had to be rushed into emergency surgery. Reporters from the Post Millennial and from Redux magazine appear to have found the shooter's online profiles on various social media websites, where he displayed the pride flag and went by he/they pronouns. Elsewhere, the shooter appears to have had an interest in queer, femboy, trans, and furry subcommunities online, and smoked weed a lot, and also talked about getting high or faded as well. Now, Chaya Raichik, the creator of Libs of TikTok, reported on those developments. And next thing you know, a reporter from NBC was in her DMs demanding to know why she would dare report on those facts, insinuating that she's trying to cause violence toward LGBTQ people. It's such tired bullying at this point. Maybe Raichik should have asked why they make everything about white supremacy. The next thing you know, two mass shooters cited that as their reason for killing a bunch of people last year in Louisville and Nashville. But Raichik had a great response anyway. She told the NBC reporter that since he had pronouns in his bio, his opinion meant nothing to her. And now lastly, my final example tonight of this disparity comes to us from this new Politico piece about the arrest of Harrison Floyd, the former director of Black Voices for Trump. The poor guy was taking his daughter home from swim practice when armed men accosted him and fought their way into his apartment building last February. The video from the encounter is only now coming out thanks to a public records request by Politico. Despite claiming to be FBI agents, Floyd later told the cops that he didn't believe the men because of their sloppy appearance, their lack of showing their credentials, their IDs, and the fact that they were so aggressive in pursuing him. Instead, he feared they could be Antifa activists or someone else impersonating law enforcement. Floyd even called 911 once he was back inside his home to report the armed men, showing his true concern about the situation. It's also worth mentioning from the article that Floyd is a Marine Corps veteran and mixed martial arts fighter who saw combat in the Iraq War. And this is how he's being treated. At one point, he considered wrestling the gun away from one of the men, but thought better of it and ran away since he didn't want to be fighting two armed men at once. But turns out the men really were federal agents trying to serve a subpoena against him over his work with President Trump, and so the cops he called for protection ended up aiding in his arrest. As some conservative commentators were speculating, was Jack Smith's goon squad trying to get Trump's former Black Voices director killed by the cops? I mean, it was a really strange situation the way they approached him, and I wouldn't put anything past the left at this point.